Hello everyone. Today I'll be presenting our poster, Disability Representation in Healthcare Datasets, Implications for Inclusive and Responsible AI. And without further ado, let's begin. Artificial intelligence is becoming increasingly integrated into healthcare, supporting applications such as diagnosis, clinical decision-making, and resource allocation. However, AI systems are only as reliable and equitable as the data they're trained on. When certain populations are underrepresented or inconsistently represented, those biases can be reflected in AI, leading to less accurate or unfair healthcare outcomes. One population that is often overlooked is people with disabilities. Disability is complex and can be physical, sensory, and cognitive, visible or invisible, and even dynamic over time. Despite this, healthcare datasets often use inconsistent definitions and methods for collecting disability-related information, making it difficult to accurately represent these experiences. To address this problem, our study examined how disability is defined, measured, and represented across healthcare-related datasets. Our goals were to assess disability representation, identify gaps, biases, and limitations in current data collection practices, and highlight opportunities for developing more inclusive and responsible AI systems in healthcare.
We performed a hybrid scoping style review, combining dataset mapping and using multiple evidence sources such as papers, publicly available datasets, and exploratory AI-assisted search. Our databases included Kaggle.com, Statistics Canada, primarily the 2022 Canadian Survey on Disability, as well as AI-assisted search tools as a preliminary method for finding datasets. Our search terms included variations of disability surveys, healthcare disabilities, and the data collection of people with disabilities in healthcare AI, as well as burden of disease. We screened for duplicates, outdated sources, unreliable or biased claims, studies that were not written in English were excluded, and things that focused on disability and healthcare bias, as well as healthcare inequities, were included for review. We screened for metrics of disability, intersectional and demographic variables, disability details, disability categories, as well as a lived experience and narrative sources.
For the results, disability-related datasets were identified across international, national, and provincial sources, and disability was measured differently depending on the dataset's purpose. International datasets emphasize burden of disease measures, while the Canadian datasets focus more on accessibility and social factors, such as employment, race, and social assistance. The review also showed that disability was often dynamic rather than fixed, and disparities were seen across groups, including accessibility barriers, lower employment, and greater care needs. Overall, these findings suggest that disability is multidimensional and shaped by social and structural factors.
Our project examined how disability is represented in healthcare datasets and the implications this has for equitable AI development. Disability is measured differently across different datasets. But one key takeaway from our project was that disability is not a fixed condition, but a multifaceted dynamic experience shaped by social and environmental context. We also identified important disparities, including barriers to accessibility, differences in employment outcomes, and inequities experienced by racialized groups. These gaps matter because AI systems are only as fair and inclusive as the data used to train them. Our main recommendation is to standardize and broaden disability data collection while actively involving people with disabilities in dataset design to create more inclusive and equitable healthcare technologies. Ultimately, if disability is not accurately represented in data, it cannot be accurately represented in algorithmic models and designs.